Somebody get that wild turkey and cook it for my dinner. Good evening and welcome, one and all, to this special Tuesday night edition of Pacific414 Pop Talk. I'm your host, Mike. Tonight, I have a couple of articles that I'm only going to talk about, and then we're going to reminisce about Thanksgiving's past, or depending on what part of the world you're from, holidays past. And of course, joining me this evening are Phil McCracken, Baron Norman Tag, and the Clown
Howdy.
Prince of Crime himself, Joker Voice.
Oh, I know. What a lovely little panel we have here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And Joker Voice, I did mention this to you backstage.
Mm-hmm.
Sunday night, yes, I ended up going live as soon as that news of Bob Chapek stepping down and Bob Iger coming back to be the quote unquote savior of Disney.
Yeah.
Broke, and I'll be honest, at first I was mulling over it, going, do I make this a video or do I go live? But you all know I ended up going live. We all gave our thoughts, but Joker Voice, I want to hear your thoughts on the news from Sunday night.
Okay, so like most people, I was probably like most people in normal world and especially in the entertainment world, no one saw this coming. Nobody. And just to be clear, Bob Chapek did not step down. Bob Chapek was shit canned.
Mm-hmm.
So, and much the same way that he did to Peter Rice a few months ago. This was a complete pack your shit, get the fuck out. Which get the fuck out, and here's your check for tens of millions of dollars along the way.
Mm-hmm.
So my thought is this, because initially because it just the previous week, he had announced that Disney was going to do a hiring freeze, that all departments were going to go through a rigorous review, which if you've ever seen the movie Office Space, you're gonna go meet the Bobs. Ironically, we have two Bobs here as well. But you're going to be interviewing as to why you have a job and why you're necessary there. And to the point to where this was employing the lead legal counsel of the Disney Corporation. Now, you don't employ that arm if you're gonna if you're gonna let go the cafeteria line cook, or if you're going to or Fred down in accounting. These were department heads that he's going after in Minecraft. So the normal names came, and of course the normal names came out. Was it going to be Kathleen Kennedy? Was it going to be Kevin Feige? Was it going to be Victoria Alonso? Was it going to be the head of Pixar? I'm sure these names might have been on the list, but these names do not have the power, even collectively, to make this kind of move. Because in July, the board unanimously renewed the guy. Unanimously renewed Chapek. So this is coming from something of institutional power, major money involvement. So if you follow the money, one of the most logical choices that Chapek would go for, since Chapek was going to go for a profit first model as opposed to the, let's just call it woke, the DEI ESG model.
Mm-hmm.
And in this year's March, we saw what the woke element was capable of when they decided to. Yes, they had a walkout, but the walkout wasn't the big thing. It was the hostage video done by the Reimagine Tomorrow group. And that is headed up by a lady named Latondra Newton.
Okay.
Who is in that upper ring where someone like a Peter Rice now would be. And the Reimagine Tomorrow was a product of Bob Iger. Bob Iger was moving the company to this ESG model, bringing in big money investors like BlackRock, State Street, Vanguard, who own about 20% of the Walt Disney Company. I think Chapek's axe got too close to Latondra Newton's head. She called Bob Iger. He called his friends at BlackRock, State Street, and Vanguard. They went to Susan Arnold and said, Chapek is out, or 20% of your company's equity is out.
So, I mean, I may be misinterpreting this, but it almost sounds like a hostile takeover.
It's, well, that would have, hostile would have to, that's the one way to describe it, because this would imply that some people would think, well, why would Bob Iger be, why would Bob Iger do this? Why Iger? Why Iger? Why would Iger even want to come back? Chapek was going to dismantle his legacy with the Walt Disney Company.
Exactly, Joker voice. And a lot of all the projects that were done at Disney were all greenlit by him. The sequel trilogy, a good chunk of all the stuff that was happening with the MCU.
Everything we have seen was greenlit by Iger. Everything we have been seeing.
Yes.
So, and because let's not forget that Iger took the company to this far left ESG mindset because he was going to use Disney as a propaganda arm for a presidential run. Yes, chum. This was a definite coup.
Yeah, and here's something I had brought up Sunday night during the live stream. I said, do you think Bob Iger was still pulling the strings?
Absolutely, he was. This was completely done by Iger, because I was when I got to work, I started watching the stream that Valiant Renegade had, and he had WDW Pro, he had Tom Connors, he had a Legal Mindset that was on there. Everyone is like, this is Bob, this is Iger. This was completely done by Bob Iger, because Bob Iger never truly left. Bob Iger is also the biggest single individual shareholder of Disney stock.
No, that is George Lucas. After the death of the guy Apple. After the death of the guy from Apple, it was George Lucas that is number 2. He was now
Steve Jobs.
Yes, when Steve Jobs was number 1 in owning stock at Disney. Number 2 was George Lucas. Number 3 was Spielberg. And after Mr. Jobs died, you have to remember his estate got broken up. Anybody, even that happened to George Lucas, his stock is still there. It never went away, but it probably went to family, friends, or however he divided it up. But at that point, it is George Lucas.
Okay, well, I'm going by what I heard from Culture Casino on the Mondays the Midnight Edge stream, when he looked at the top individual shareholders, and it was Bob Iger. That was his list. Bob Iger owns over 1 million shares of Disney stock.
Which wouldn't surprise me, especially after he quote unquote retired.
Right. That would be part of his severance package. Hi, Kathy.
And not to mention the whole thing about his memoir book, The Ride of a Lifetime, which again really was a lot of smoking gun stuff we saw coming. I mean, I was somewhat not shocked when he was like brought back in, quote unquote. But yeah. I got a feeling Chapek was meant to be the fall guy in a way.
Right.
And another thing I had mentioned Sunday, this just all seems too coincidental.
It's because and again, even if Iger by himself doesn't wield enough power to make this turn on a dime change, because this had to come from the board. This comes from the board. This is not Kathy and Kevin, calling Bob and say, please, 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 please. And Bob saying, all right, I'll see what I can do. This is big institutional cash going to Susan Arnold saying Chapek is out or we are out and you'll be out too.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's a power struggle.
It is. This is the real Game of Thrones right here. Oh no, Phil. Lucas owns a very nice, because he's still contracts with Skywalker Sound and ILM, so he's still very much involved with the Disney process.
The one thing to remember is when it comes to a corporation, stock does not mean you're on the board of directors. And you can have people. All right, let's put it to you this way. Disney has multiple investors.
Right.
Other corporations are invested into Disney.
Correct.
And as individuals, George Lucas and Spielberg are up there. But as far as, like you would say, top 100, no, they're not. They're not. No individual is a top owner of any stock in Disney. But here's the thing: we here, all five of us, can own 10% into Disney. Say we own that stock. That doesn't put us on the board.
No,
they select who they want on that board.
Right, so most of that board was selected by Iger.
Yes. What happens is, even if they say 20% of the stock, that's still not enough to take over a company. You have to take at least, or how can I put it right way? You have to get the majority of the shareholders to say, and get that number to at least 51%. And even that 51% is not going to give you authority to say, okay, we need to remove these people on the board. Right. We have to remove a CEO. The only thing that does is they can threaten
they can board, leverage.
Yeah, and leverage. Say, hey, we can jettison our stock.
Right.
That's it. But the board itself, I really felt this last year, with everything going, let's be honest, Marvel wasn't making money as like they were before the end game. Star Wars, you can put in, and everything else has been in. They're not, and the parks are losing money. I feel that they already had Iger there. He was behind the wings. And after that stock fell a couple days ago, what was it, 40%? I think they said this Game of Thrones deal, we got to get rid of this guy. And I feel sorry for Chapek. He was only there for the parks. He has no idea how to run a studio or a major company.
Okay.
I want to use the face.
Okay.
Well, I would. Oh, sorry.
No, go.
Okay. Well, I wouldn't doubt if they even instigated it from the beginning that this was planned, because, like you said, this is Iger's people in there. It's like, let's put somebody in there to be a scapegoat if things go south. He can be the bad boy, cutting this, cutting that, make everybody mad, and I can come in as the golden child again. Here I am. I rescued it all from bad Chapek. I mean, I wouldn't doubt if it was even, like you said, this is Games of Thrones. All companies are Games of Thrones.
Right.
Like this. And I wouldn't doubt if they had that plan from the beginning, that Chapek was the sacrificial lamb. Now, when it comes around to, like, Doc, it's like when Bill Gates lost his case to Apple, he had to buy, I can't remember how many millions of dollars of non-voting stock. So he was a major stockholder, but not a voter.
Right. And so remember what Chapek walked into, though. He walked into the COVID, the COOF, which shuts down the park. That's their cash cow right there.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So they had a bad couple quarters.
Yeah.
Here, Joe.
Once the parks reopened, and then prices started going up, and then other things were affecting the parks. The parks were still making enough. Parks were still making the money to carry. And then you got the stuff with China. Now, basically, again, Iger invested millions of dollars into Chinese real estate.
Mm-hmm.
Millions of dollars into Chinese real estate, which basically you're at the behest of the CCP. At any time, they can pull that, and it is now theirs, along with every IP on there. So Shanghai Disneyland and even Hong Kong Disneyland now, that can be taken off the table at any time on a whim. And
so Shanghai could be Shanghai.
Yep. Yep.
Well, according to the way it's done in China, it's a partnership. Anytime they deal with a Western business, it's a partnership. As far as owning the actual land, Chinese communists don't let foreign nations own any land. You can, what do they call it? You can use
just look at all the property they're buying up in sub-Saharan Africa and the new Silk Road they're building into the Middle East.
But if you're a Westerner and you're trying to say, I want to build a new studio in Beijing, you can acquire the land, but you never own the land. You're technically just renting it.
Right.
But the Chinese thing, the reason that they're doing it, and we have to remember, after everything went down in Beijing and the Tiananmen Square incident and all that craziness, the communists realized they had to do business differently.
Right.
And we wanted to do business there. Don't forget, there's 1.6 million Chinamen. That's a lot of business there. That's a lot of KFC fried chicken you can sell there. So even if you make a bad deal,
1.6 billion.
Yep. And that's just the Chinese living in China. That's not counting the Chinese minorities in like Vietnam and the other different places. So that's a big chunk.
So at the end of the day, with the whole Chapek Iger thing, Iger's never left. He has been in the ears of the board this entire time because they're his friends. And when something got too close to something that he instituted, which brought in a lot of capital, this is his legacy. So he acted to save his legacy, and this is a power move. This is it's not a power move. It's a panic move, because this entire woke movement thing, just in the last year, they lost the Warner Brothers to Zaslav. Netflix, shit canned their entire DEI department. They lost Twitter. They cannot afford to lose a company with the reach and influence that Disney has.
I personally don't think, like I said on that night stream that we had it, I don't think 2 years is enough for Iger to even turn any of it around.
There's no way anyone, Bob Iger or anyone, could turn the company around in 2 years.
It's not gonna get turned around.
It's gonna get worse.
That's what I'm thinking. We're gonna see more woke stuff.
It's gonna go back to the status quo.
But the thing they don't understand is that I know that, of course, the now fellowship are gonna be on this stuff, and obviously, again, it's gonna help them get clicks for everything. But the thing is, the majority of people are just tuned out from it now. They're done with this crap. They're done with being berated by these creatives who, of course, Disney hired because they are quote unquote outside of the fandom types, because they don't want people who are fans of these properties working for them. They want people they want ideologues who hate this stuff and basically want to just say, yeah, here's this established property that we know you freaking do not like and you want to destroy because you just jumped in the culture. Hey, old man, how are you?
And I do want to say hello to Jet Sparks and Old Man before we get too far into the broadcast, and I haven't said a single word about greeting them.
I'm just gonna say,
don't worry about
it. The exciting thing here, don't be surprised. Don't be surprised with all this chaos that's going on now. Don't be surprised if David Zaslav empowers Peter Safran and James Gunn and say, "Hey, why don't you bring the Russos over here?" And unless he gets a nice deal from Lucasfilm, bring Jon Favreau over too.
You must be reading my mind, Joker Voice, because that was going to be my next question too. Do you think Jon Favreau might decide to say, enough with Disney, I'm going where the ship's, being raised?
It's going to depend on how many zeros are at the end of that check.
And I think he's been thinking
you
about it.
got to know what the contract he signed with Disney, because they all, at this point, I don't care who the director is or who producers they get, they tend to sign them for years, like they used to do back in the day in Hollywood with the actors. Which
but here's the thing, Phil. Just like with Bob Chapek signing a new contract in June, they could say to Jon Favreau, "Okay, we don't need you anymore. You're out the door. Bye-bye."
Right.
But Disney would put in there, and I'm pretty sure they're smart in this, but I could be wrong. Let's say if they fire you, you're free to do whatever. But if you decide to leave, it's kind of like a clause in there. You can't do anything for X period of time.
Right.
Yeah, it's basically it's career suicide. You just
that makes sense.
I'll give you an example. WWE will do that when they release wrestlers where they have a 90-day no-compete contract.
Right.
Or sometimes it's a year.
Right.
Yeah. It all depends on what type of contract they're signing. Hopefully they have a good lawyer, because I hate to say it, in this day and age, I don't care what you're doing. Read the print. Read the print.
Because I know
with a magnifying glass.
Because I know that when it comes to say creatives like writers and stuff, that's a little more baked in. Directors are kind of free agents. So the Russos I know are done with Marvel. They said that after Loki aired, and they haven't done anything for a while. So could we see the Russos doing a DC film? Possibly.
Anything's possible.
Yeah. Which I'd like to see. I'm just saying.
We know what they can do, so why not get them in there and have them, put their spin on Superman, for example.
Right. Or maybe, or just the wishing here, a Jon Favreau Batman.
Honestly, I like the sound of that.
Right. So, that's just, and I've got a video that I just recorded and uploaded, and that's going to drop tomorrow. That's going to drop tomorrow the morning. So y'all got a sneak preview of it. So
Nice.
But what Jet Sparks was saying earlier there, they'll bring in fans, but they're going to be little troll simp fans like Pablo Hidalgo, who'll go in there, and even though he knows everything up and down the line, he's just going to be there, kissing KK's butt and going out there and insulting fans. Right. That's what they want. They want turncoats.
They want ideologue people that obviously or people who say they want to claim, or just posers who want to claim their fans, but they absolutely straight up hate it. That's the same thing with that chick who made She-Hulk. She is the type of person that hates that stuff. That's the reason why we got her doing that stupid twerk thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, the thing is, Pablo Hidalgo was a fan. Then became a simp.
Right. And so, Pablo started off as an IT guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was working on some stuff in Lucasfilm, and he was just so enamored because you're right, he was a fan and started to lick what he thought was the golden ass of KK.
Yeah.
Well, he got to start all the way back with West End Games, Star Wars role-playing game.
Yeah.
He wrote for Star Wars.
Remember him from.
Yeah, and he was good. He knew his stuff. Some of the best articles were written by the schmuck. And you take a look at him now, it's like, come on, you know this stuff inside and out, and now all you can be is the anti-fan, little troll running around. That's why you're Pablo Hidalgo.
He didn't do none of that when he was working for George Lucas. That was, you didn't hear none of thing like that coming out of his mouth. When Disney took over and everything. Again, I don't know. I can't say for sure. My philosophy is that there was a big hoopla between all these companies, and they were told, this is what we want you to do. This is what we want you to promote. They did that back in the day with Superman. They used Superman back in the day to promote what the government kind of want to steer the direction of people. Let's get away from this topic. Let's get away from that topic. And it succeeded. I'm telling you, you look at what happened to Warner Brothers. They thought if they keep pumping out this woke stuff, that eventually the people will eventually accept it. It didn't happen. And the money tree ran out.
Now take this with a grain of salt, but I just saw across a Twitter feed here now that you see now that we have the Indiana Jones thing up here. This with a grain of salt, a site called Star Wars Stuff is quoting John Campea, again, grain of salt, that Kathleen Kennedy will reportedly be leaving Lucasfilm next summer, either before or shortly after the Indiana Jones 5 release.
And how many times have we heard that she's going to leave and nothing happens?
Again,
it's a grain of salt. Yeah. And I know, brother. I know. I'm just speaking aloud, and
you're completely. I
can't help but feel it's just another hook being thrown up by the fishermen.
I am again. It's Campea, and I read the article, and he said that a source that he has, and I'm like, okay, John, come on now, you're wrong more than you're right, but I will give it a read here. Now, if I hear it from like that Park Place, okay, now that's got some teeth.
Or even if I heard it from Pirates and Princesses, I'd give it more teeth. Clownfish TV, I would give it more value if I heard it from them. Doomcock.
You have to remember, they're not stupid, and we don't know who their sources is. I
Right.
won't single out any YouTuber, but
No,
they're not
no,
going
no.
to send somebody in there and say, "Hey, go speak to this guy and tell him you're giving him it's a false report, if you want to call it that, just to try to ruin people."
Right,
You know?
and again, nothing against John. He's more successful channel than all of us combined. So, I mean, I can't say he's that he's doing something wrong here. So,
Well, I'm gonna go this way because technically, really, honestly, with her track record, how she basically took a franchise that should be making at least twice as much as it should be. Yeah, they're making somewhat of a profit there, but they should be making twice as much as this. An average person would have been fired. They would have been dumped. My thing is Kathleen Kennedy knows her bodies are buried, especially when we have this Weinstein thing that happened. I think she knows she has dirt on people out there, and then she's made it known. If you get rid of me, this is all going to come out on you. Who knows what she's got on Iger? Who knows what she's got on whatever? We know that Disney was a groomer place. They were grooming children there, for Christ's sake.
Yep.
So, I mean, Epstein's girlfriend was working in the children's division over at Disney, for Christ's sake. That Maxine, whatever. So, I mean, I'm sure she knows where bodies are, who did what, and that's the only reason why she's been sitting in that position. And I noticed one big difference is instead of saying that she's going to be getting let go, that she is wanting to leave, which, hey, after a while you get tired and want to retire. Maybe there might be some validity to this, but she's going to walk out of that company on her own. No one's going to throw her out because she's got information.
Okay, just so everyone knows, no one, I do not think there's anyone who thinks that Kathleen Kennedy is going to get frog marched with a box of her stuff out of Lucasfilm.
No, she's gonna. She's gonna leave when she's done enough damage to everything.
They're gonna give her. They are gonna sing. They're gonna sing her praises. She is gonna get a lifetime Oscar award. She's gonna get. She's going to. But if that's what it takes, just say, okay, Kathy.
Yeah. I mean, I think they honestly were. I think they honestly were going to fire her at one time, and that's when she laid out some stuff and sat back and said, I have a dead man switch. If something happens to me, this stuff comes out.
And that's probably when Iger said, okay, well, then you can't do any more films, which just kneecapped her.
Mm-hmm. Well, she would have released stuff. She would have sat back and said, okay, I'm going to release stuff.
Well, speaking of something that's supposed to be Kathleen Kennedy's last hurrah, new info revealed about the villains of Indiana Jones 5.
Phoebe Waller-Bridge. Oh wait, no, that's not the villain, but it is.
Now we've all heard the rumors as far as what the plot of Indiana Jones 5 is actually about, how it involves time travels. The Yahtzees are back. And they're going after some MacGuffin.
Indiana Jones dies, and his goddaughter takes the fedora and the whip and forever becomes the real Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
The other thing I really wondered about is, with Kennedy being in there as long as she has to have an awful lot of dirt on her. Who out there has been accumulating some of that on her? And they're that on her.
Her husband.
Yeah, I mean,
nobody is staying in a position like that unless they got dirt on people.
Right.
Not necessarily. Till this day, no one has ever seen the contract when George Lucas signed to sell his baby over. You don't know what clauses are in that contract. He probably made it rock solid because he had faith in Kathleen Kennedy. You can go back and look at the very beginning.
Which I'm sure he regrets.
Cast iron. She's there unless she does something majorly immoral, whatever that could be. That would be the only way they can get rid of her, unless she decides to step down.
That's pretty
no
good.
other way.
That's pretty good for the person who handles the coffee. That's what their job was. Here's your coffee, Mr. Lucas. Here's your coffee, Mr. Spielberg.
Yeah, pretty much. But
yeah,
like
it's
I said,
ironic
George
how
Lucas
somebody
was
went
very
from
high.
that.
He was very
to
high on
basically-
Kathleen Kennedy, and if you watch the video, I think that it was she received a cast iron contract that guaranteed that unless she does something out of the ordinary or detrimental or socially or whatever, they can't fire her or replace her. I think that's rock solid. George,
right, well,
I guarantee you George did that for her. So
we don't really know, but
we'll never know.
No. But according to this article, it says across 4 feature films, there are only 3 in my opinion.
Yep.
Harrison Ford's Indiana Jones has gone up against a variety of foes, including Soviet spies and the Mad Priest. And then it goes on to mention a few other things. However, Indy's most frequent adversaries are the Yahtzees. And I'm just saying it Yahtzees because of YouTube and Mama Susan.
Or just the really, really angry German men.
Or you can just go National Socialist.
No, I rather go. I just go with extreme. I just go with furious German men.
So it's only fitting the final film in the series will once again feature the Yahtzees. There was a final film. It was called The Last Crusade. It was excellent.
Yep.
Indy rode off in the sunset.
Yep. With his dad. Yep.
Junior.
I'll take Schwans for 100, Alex. That's
yeah, and I know one thing though. I know at least the only saving grace I can give King of the Crystal Skull is at least Indy and Marion got married at the end of the movie. That's the only saving grace I can give that movie.
Well, the first few moments of that movie were good, and then it all went downhill.
Yes, and of course, once again, that movie actually redefined the term "jump the shark," a la nuking the fridge.
Oh yeah. It's kind of like that South Park episode where they're lampooning that.
Mm-hmm. And the article, of course, mentions that the Yahtzees are going to be the villains again, according to the source. And it says, but this time the setting is 1969. 69, dudes! I gotta get that. I gotta get that clip. I guess the backdrop of the space race via Empire, Indiana Jones 5, co-writer Jazz Butterworth. Maple syrup? I don't know. Okay, I know that was a bad joke, but hey, I'm full of them.
Yeah, we know. Yeah.
Confirmed that Mads Mikkelsen's character Voller is inspired by Webner von Braun, a man who was a Yahtzee before he became a NASA engineer, but Voller appears to be fully committed to his lost cause decades after World War II. Additionally, Boyd Holbrook will be portraying the Clubber Voller's right-hand henchman. And it says, the simple fact is the moon landing program was run by a bunch of ex-Yahtzees, said Butterworth. How ex they are is the question, and it gets up Indy's nose. It's not just that the model of what a hero has completely changed. It's not just that they're looking for something where there's nothing up there. It's like Reno without the gambling or whatever his line is, but the people that are behind it are the sworn enemies.
Yawn.
According to Mikkelsen, the space race gives Voller and Indy the opportunity to find a key object that could change the world, but he declined to specify exactly what the object is. Voller is a man who would like to correct some of the mistakes of the past, said Mikkelsen. There is something that could make the world a much better place to live in. He would love to get his hands on it. Indiana Jones wants to get his hands on it as well. And so we have a story. Phoebe
Indiana Jones and the
Waller-Bridge.
Golden Dildo of Venus.
Oh God. And I think a giant crystal alien skull was not like going too far.
This might just make Kingdom of the Crystal Skulls enjoyable to watch.
Yeah,
Hey, I tell you
it
what,
look like a masterpiece.
Tell you what, why don't we all just sit down and watch Iron Skies, because it sounds like that's what they're wanting to make.
It's kind of ironic. Shia LaBeouf was in that movie. He was actually Indy's son. You think that he was gonna be the next Indiana Jones? He just takes out like, maybe, not today, kid.
Yeah, well, that's because he pissed everybody off, because that's what he's good at.
But it's ironic, all the crap he went through. But at least it's a good thing to know the guy. At least the dude found God. So at least there's a happy ending, at least with Shia LaBeouf.
I'm just saying, at that time, I think they were grooming to be the next Indy, take over. But he just pissed everybody off. Yeah,
I think they were because at the time he was a hot commodity.
Yeah, he was kind of just. He was a little almost near fresh off the. When did Crystal Skull come out?
2008.
2008.
Oh yeah, he was fresh off the heels of like Transformers.
Yep.
Transformers, and of course he grew up around Disney, so I don't think he would ever want to do it, because again, he based that company is what brought him to acting, or started his career up, at least, as with a lot of actors. Some of them got their start on Disney, for better or for worse, wherever you want to look at it.
And the article finishes up by saying Phoebe Waller-Bridge will be playing Indy's goddaughter, Helena. But for now, the roles of Thomas Ketcherman and Shante Renee Wilson, Antonio Banderas, Toby Jones, and Oliver Richards remain unrevealed. Indiana Jones 5 will hit theaters on June 30th of next year. And then it asks if anybody's looking forward to Indiana Jones 5.
No. Yeah, what's her name? What's your qualifications? Take over Indiana Jones. Well, I was a robot with a flashlight that Lando Calrissian point. Okay, great. You're hired.
Since she also was in some really annoying TV show, and she also was one of the people that quote unquote tried to make the dialogue in No Time to Die snappier.
Yeah.
Okay, and also remember, she was the activist droid in Solo.
Yeah, that's what I just said. Yeah, she was a droid with the flashlight that.
If I'm going to say two things though. Look, one, I probably bet for Rami Malek again. Guy's probably a good actor, but I'd say one, he should probably do more horror roles. And the only real standout in that movie was Ana de Armas as Agent Paloma. She actually deserved her own spinoff, just like how Wei Lin, Michelle Yeoh's character from Tomorrow Never Dies, deserved her own spinoff, but she never got it.
I just think it's a sad state of Hollywood that our villains can't be variety and different people. It's only two people now that can be villains: Confederates and Yahtzees. You can't you can't use communists anymore, because you're going to make China and most of Southeast Asia, who still are communists, upset.
In Hollywood.
I mean, this is where we're going to. But the bigger thing is they have no new ideas. Do we need another Indiana Jones? No. Do we need a spinoff? No. Do we need a prequel to it? No. Look, I love Lord of the Rings. I love Viggo Mortensen playing Aragorn. We don't need a prequel. We don't need a sequel to it. Just leave it alone. Be done.
Well,
just like Picard said, there are 4 lights. There are only 3 indie movies.
Yeah.
Well, we already had the spinoffs and prequels, and that was the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles.
Right.
Yeah. Which wasn't a bad show, to be honest.
No.
But
and Harrison Ford even guest starred in one.
They can't end a series. The series somehow, in some ways, has to be revitalized and come back. It's that bad. Look, I have nothing. I loved Indiana Jones, the first one. Wasn't too crazy about the second one, though I did like it. Loved the third one. Didn't see the purpose of the fourth one, but I was hoping that was the end.
Yes.
End the story. Let it go. Be done with it. I would love to see it end. No, if they're passing off a torch, no, I don't want to see something pass.
The only time where it felt like we actually got a closure with a third movie, and possibly we could get more with new characters, was Ghostbusters Afterlife. But at least it actually helped lay Harold Ramis to rest in terms of like what he wanted to do. It was a
Ghostbusters Afterlife, as far as current Hollywood goes, is an anomaly because it was done out of no respect.
Yes, which is what anything should do, especially if somebody passes away. It should be done out of respect.
I think that was a flashback that there was in that particular studio company. I don't remember who was the studio company that did Ghostbusters Afterlife, but I think
Sony.
I think that was because of the backlash from the all-women one, which wasn't a good
2016. Yep.
I think there was enough people in Sony that said, "Look, we got to do this the right way."
Right.
And they knew they were going to make some type of money, but hopefully they don't do another one. You know, I'd end it.
Another case.
Same way I feel about the Maverick. Love Maverick, but I do not want to see another Top Gun Maverick or another Top Gun whatsoever.
Well,
we're done. It should be done. That's it.
There is talk of expanding the role of Rooster.
No, he basically we already know that Rooster's just an analog for his father. That's all he is.
I'm just saying. But again, this is Hollywood. If they think they can squeeze dollar bills out of something, they're going to. And I was just going to say with a studio that kind of admitted that they made a mistake. Let's look at House of the Dragon. It is a prequel with everything working against it, and it was amazing because I truly believe that the folks at HBO and Zaslav said, "Don't fuck this up."
Yes.
And it was amazingly cast. It was amazingly written. The show recaptured the audience so much that Game of Thrones began trending in the top 10 of the top 10 Nielsen ratings again.
Well, you mentioned Warner Brothers and Zaslav. That leads to my next story, Joker Voice.
Oh wow!
Perfect timing.
I just bring the news. So here we go.
And what's nice, I only selected 2 stories for tonight's episode. So
yes, God, because I had okay. Oh God. Okay, you can read this and then I'll rant for.
All right. I'll go ahead and read it.
Because I'm never known to rant at all.
Here's the thing: we're all passionate about many different franchises, and we need to voice our opinions. We can't just accept it for what it is and go, "Oh boy, this Wonder Woman burger looks good. This Star Wars burger looks good. This Star Trek burger looks good. I'm going to consume it," and then take a bite and go, "It doesn't taste that great, but I'm just going to eat it because I hate myself."
Don't question. Don't question. Just consume product.
Well, I don't know. Wonder Woman herself looks pretty good. I mean, I'm not talking about the series because I can't
Gal,
have that come by for a snack.
Gal is great, and Gal looks the part. I mean, I'm fine. Okay, so read on.
All right. It says, good news. Wonder Woman 3 script rewritten. Yay!
Thank God.
Fans are worried the third movie could be as big a disappointment as Wonder Woman 84.
Considering we got this line that's more known as a meme than it actually was. This is good, but it can be better.
Yeah. And the article starts off by saying, good news for the DCU, as it is learned that apparently the Wonder Woman 3 script has been rewritten. We all know how bad Wonder Woman 1984 is. Yeah, no kidding. So we all have been worried about the third movie in the franchise. Again, no kidding.
Right.
Wonder Woman 84 was written and directed by Patty Jenkins, and for some reason, it went in the opposite direction than the much better first movie that had its story by Zack Snyder about the gods and such. Goes on to say, well, a like-minded fan on Twitter happened to tweet, just do some cool Greek mythology crap for Wonder Woman 3, please. Twitter scooper at Look Upon the Stock caught the wind of that tweet and replied back with encouraging news. For those worried, the Amazon series plot elements got rewritten into this movie, says the tweet.
What we'll do is we'll have Wonder Woman Clash of the Titans. How's that sound?
Oh my! I don't know, Baron. You almost sounded like Christopher Walken there. Oh my!
Actually,
I want to give a shout out to Hawkeye. He does a mean Christopher Walken impression.
JT, what's up, JT? And Jacob.
I wasn't even trying to do a voice, except just do a voice. I wasn't trying to imitate anybody. But there's this, you know what this YouTube channel needs is more cowbell. More cowbell.
No, I got a fever. And the only prescription is more cowbell.
I said, wow, it's crazy.
I got a cowbell in the other room.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, the article goes on to say, what is Wonder Woman 3 about? While we don't know what Wonder Woman 3 is about, it seems the pieces are coming together, as it will be set in present day and maybe feature the villain Cersei.
Oh, okay.
Following how well the Amazons were received in the first Wonder Woman and animated series and a live action movie were also greenlit, but apparently those are no longer happening, which can probably blame on how badly Wonder Woman 84 has been received.
That's because we like hot buff women.
Yeah, I mean, women like eye candy, men like eye candy. I know I do.
Oh yeah. Oh my.
Back in 2020,
whoever plays Wonder Woman has a couple of really big things to have to fill out.
Back in 2020, prior to the release of Wonder Woman 84, Jenkins confirmed an animated series focusing on the Amazons was being considered, as well as a spin-off film that would be part of the in-world story of Wonder Woman. So according to the above rumor, those elements have been rewritten into the Wonder Woman 3 script, which is also rumored to be returning to those stories featuring the gods, as it should.
Good.
Wonder Woman 3, Cersei is the villain set in the present day.
Great choice.
Speculation offers Cersei will be the villain of Wonder Woman 3, where some fans think Lena Headey would be the perfect for the role with the flick set in present day. It's actually I don't see it.
Lena Headey? Well, because she played Cersei Lannister.
It's actually no, Wonder Woman 84 originally had a god for its villain, but went in a different direction for some reason. So it seems Wonder Woman 3 is returning to that, made the first movie so good. Well, yeah, I mean, if it worked for the first movie, just add, a tweak here or tweak there. It should have worked for the second movie, but no, we got what we received. I didn't like it, and I know I'm not the only one. Patty Jenkins also recently revealed she turned in the new script. So there is a story that goes through the 3 different movies as a whole, but even now, I just wrote last week the final scene for Wonder Woman 3, and I thought I would be interested to see what happened next, so you never know. Jenkins also previously teased the third movie will be set in the present day. You're enjoying the movie you're making and also reflecting on what could be different or better than the real world, and therefore what story you want to tell, she said. That's the greatest thing to me about superhero stories. You're able to have a dialogue about what a hero would be right now. So, yes, I have ideas for what I'd like to say, and Gal does too. Also, look for Gal Gadot in The Flash next year. Worth a mention is that Wonder Woman 3 will have to get the okay from both James Gunn and Peter Safran,
Right.
who are now the new co-heads of DCU.
Of DC Studios.
So, gentlemen, ladies, have at it. What are your thoughts?
I'll go first, I guess. The problem with 1984 is the title made no sense because as it was established at the end of Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, where it says she hid herself away from the world of men for 100 years, which she would have hid herself away at the end of World War One, which was 1910s. In that,
at least 1914.
So, which meant she would not have appeared till 2014. So, what the hell is she doing in 1984? Plus, Bruce Wayne would have been a young person at that time. He might have known of that weird day in 1984 when all that crazy stuff now went down, but that was never mentioned. Pay no attention that wonder the woman rapes a guy. I mean,
yeah, again, that part did not make sense. Yeah, the ghost of a guy from that she quote unquote loved inhabiting the body of some random person
that he has taken over.
Yeah,
that he has taken over. So that poor guy who's in there, like, I'm not in control of my body now. Oh God, what's going on? Yeah, you're hot, but I didn't ask for this.
Yeah, this makes no sense. I mean, I can understand it was time traveling. The only time where I feel like that weird thing about time travel, where you overshadow like your past self, that makes a lot more. I think that makes a lot more sense, But in this, where your body just inhabits some other random person who has a life, has family, friends, and you're just letting all that happen, and you're just like overshadowing his life. That's just like, that's horrible.
Okay, so there's a couple things in here that had me a little concerned. One, Patty Jenkins. She can direct. She's not a great writer, as 84 showed us. So if she's writing, so if she's doing both, that's a concern. I heard the term present day quite a few times. To me, that I'm hoping that is not a euphemism for the modern audience, aka woke. Now with Gunn and Safran at the head of DC Studios, if Gunn is going to let this thing happen, Peter Safran is not going to let Gunn put himself or DC in any position to look bad, because not only is Peter Safran the co-CEO of DC Studios, he is also James Gunn's agent.
That's true. I mean, I had the same concerns as you, Joker Voice 2, with those two current things, present day especially.
Mm-hmm. So we will see. Does this thing sound good? Sure, it sounds great. And again, knowing what the type of, as we've seen what Zaslav is thus far, do I have a little more faith, and do I have a little more excitement on this? Sure, but again, this is current Hollywood. I'm going to reserve my I'm going to hold back from being all in. Will I go see this in the theater? Yes, I will.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a chance. I mean, I look at Wonder Woman 2 right now as an anomaly. Yeah,
let's hope so.
Let's hope we get a trailer that actually shows that, they learned from their mistake of Wonder Woman 84.
Right. And
so.
when they mentioned the villain being Cersei, I'm reminded of that wonderful Justice League Unlimited episode where Cersei turns her into a pig, and Batman and Zatanna are going on a magical journey to get her turned back human, and it ends up with Batman in a lounge singing.
Well, I can say this, in my opinion, Wonder Woman 2, in my opinion, was okay. It wasn't the greatest superhero, movie after a great hit. But the worst thing that I've seen so far in the last 5 years. Originally, that was from a comic book, and it didn't have the politics that they implemented into that in Wonder Woman 84. But if you guys try to remember, you mentioned the scene where supposedly she did take advantage. Remember Ghost? You get a similar type thing there, right. And that was a major hit. That movie was a hit. So I think they tried throwing that in there, just kind of like how they do with Dancing with Wolves with Avatar. They throw it in there, try to get a hit. But as far as her still being there doing Wonder Woman, being the director and writer, and I wouldn't go that route. To me, nah, I'll watch it. Hopefully it's good. I'll watch Wonder Woman 3, regardless of what script we're getting. But yeah, I'm not a fan of whatever her name is, the director of 84.
Patty Jenkins.
I mean, don't forget, Disney hired her, then got rid of her that quick.
Yep.
Not that Disney is great, but at least Disney so far has been smart and didn't bring Mr. Johnson back, where I'm not sure about this. Like I said, 84, it's not, to me, not a bad movie. It's not similar to the comic book. They were doing political stuff in that. And hopefully that was pushed in there by the last regime. And hopefully this new regime
and start off, yes, it was.
Is saying
absolutely
no politics. I mean, look at the Batman that we just got with Peterson in it. It was a good Batman. It didn't have no politics in it. Though I disagree with the two race swapping.
Well, as far as politics, there was that line by Catwoman
that's
talking about his privilege.
Yes, and
that's the one I'm talking about.
It makes me
it was a good movie up until that point.
And if I can address Amen Fate's comment here, where it says every studio needs to stop and concentrate on one movie or series at a time.
Mm-hmm.
If we're talking 20 years ago, you might be able to make that argument, but with film, TV, and now streaming, that's not an easy thing to do. What they need to do is focus on quality, not quantity. Get the best, get the best writers you can. Hire the best people you can. Don't do the Disney the model now, which if something's not great, throw it onto Disney Plus, throw it onto Disney Plus, throw it onto Disney Plus, throw it onto Disney Plus. You keep doing that, you get what Disney Plus did in the last fiscal quarter, which is a loss of over $150 million.
And people still have that assumption that just like going straight to videotape, it's not going to be as good as the other one. Why should we bother unless you're absolutely diehard or a kid that's begging for it?
Right.
Now again, we have to remember there's a thing here too. This is a second script, which means the first one came in there. They looked at it and said, "This is crap. Here's your list of what you're supposed to do." And she did the script. And now that doesn't mean this is still going to be the script that we see. It's going to go right back to Gun and Gang, and they could end up turning around and polishing it up and rewriting it themselves, but she would still get credit, which has happened many times in Hollywood. Right. I wouldn't if she's bringing another turd in there. That's probably what they're going to end up doing. This is still going to be polished. I mean, she's bringing it back. They're still going to have to do some stuff to it. How much? We don't know. We haven't seen what the first script looked like, but obviously it must have been pretty shitty.
Right, and that's why I'm like, okay, it's Patty Jenkins. She can direct.
Yeah.
She's not a good writer.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah, exactly. And the same thing with David S. Goyer. He may be a good writer, but he's a terrible director. Just look at Blade Trinity.
Right.
Well, yeah.
I mean,
and of course she's saying some. Oh, sorry.
No. Go.
Oh, and she's saying those buzzwords about the modern day stuff. That's almost buzzwords saying, "Oh, we're going to go out there and be SJW Crusaders again."
Mm-hmm. And
it's like, right, which I'm sure that Gunn is not going to go for, and Zaslav definitely won't.
So I'll say this. So the Peacemaker series, which was loved. It was loved. I personally saw the one or two episodes because I just can't stand John Cena. I didn't to watch the show. Are there woke elements in that show? Absolutely, there are.
Yeah, I'm not going to deny that there are.
But they
or there aren't, because I watched the series and they're there. They're there. They hit you in the face.
But it's kind of almost mocking it.
Yeah. That's the same kind of interpretation I took from Joker Voice when I watched it. That it was poking fun at all the woke ideology.
Mm-hmm. So, and I would love to stay in chat. Because I saw you guys now we're here, so I stayed up a little later. But I do need to get my nap in because it's a work night for me. But it was a pleasure being on with all you guys.
And Joker Voice,
you coming on, brother.
I want a bourbon and Coke, and don't water it down. Keep it strong. There'll be an extra tip for that.
Joker.
All right, cool.
Have a great night.
Take care, guys.
Take care, brother, and happy Thanksgiving.
You as
happy
well.
Thanksgiving.
Later, guys. Toodles.
And speaking of Thanksgiving, ladies and gentlemen, we do have some extra spots open if you'd like to join us and talk about your favorite Thanksgiving, or for those who aren't in the United States, holiday memories.
Hey, I'm going to try this. Let's see if it works. It usually works for Phil. Let's see if it works this way. Cash money, cash money, cash money.
Do you really want cash money here?
Yes.
Why not?
Yes.
I'll try to see what I can do.
We need the
He-
almighty
he's always welcome here on Pop Talk. He knows that. Everybody's always welcome here.
Yeah.
It's not lip service when I say that everybody's welcome here. You want to come on the panel? You're welcome to come on the panel. That's why I pinned the link in the very top.
Oh, Kathleen Kennedy's in the back room ready to come in. Are you sure about that?
Fade in.
All right, I see what I can do. I gave him. I gave him the signal.
I can open hailing frequencies to cash money. If he's not busy, he'll join us. If he's busy, he won't join us.
But I can blackmail him. I have blackmail ability, so what can I say?
You don't need to blackmail the man.
Oh yes, I do. It's cash money. He deserves to get blackmailed every second of the day.
Oh, chin money.
Hours a day.
You're talking about chin money. With that chin of his.
Yeah. Cash money really means pennies in the sock.
Pennies from heaven.
They say it rains.
Hold up. Did I hear the anonymous theme?
No, I was saying a little bit of Pennies from Heaven. I know I can't sing the whole song. And I know I probably shouldn't even sing.
I was going to say you can't sing.
Stuck in your head now. Did I bring it up and now it's stuck in your head?
No. You bring it up and it brings back good memories. It was my grandmother and grandfather's on my mom's side of the family. It was their song.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Pennies from Heaven. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. The long-suffering message tag in my song is "You May Be Right, Might Be Crazy" from Billy Joel. So I mean, I guess that's a little. Pennies from Heaven is probably a little bit more romantic.
So, gentlemen, what are your favorite Thanksgiving or holiday memories?
Well,
man, what is Baron doing over there? What in the world is he doing?
He's preparing his Thanksgiving feast for Thursday.
What am I doing?
I hear strange sounds and movement over there, and I'm just curious what you're doing.
I'm not moving around that much. I'm sitting on the couch. The dog's on me.
You're sitting on the couch?
Yeah, I'm sitting on the couch. Sitting on the couch, sitting back. That's why you don't see my face. I'm on the phone. I'm enjoying the good life.
Oh,
I was also adjusting my earbuds that I got. Oh, my God.
And the dog is adjusting your volume control.
Yeah. So who would like to go
I think
first?
BB farted. That's probably what it was.
I'll go.
Yeah.
Okay.
But first off, I'm gonna say, moving forward, it's just not gonna be the same without my grandmother. I mean, she always prepared Thanksgiving dinner for everybody. She went through a lot. She did a lot of work. We helped her we helped her in the process, and many times it's just my grandfather and my sister. It's just them just living at the house. I mean, I grew up in the house too, but I moved out long ago. But now that it's just older, now it's just like there's barely. I know it's just different now. One is that I don't think one of my nephews is now going to grow up really never knowing her. And I think my first nephew has will barely have any memories of her. But the one greatest Thanksgiving we had, I mean, we had from pretty great Thanksgivings, but I think one of the best ones we have is where instead of cooking turkey and all the usual stuff for Thanksgiving, we cooked a big pot of gumbo. Yes. That's a good old the most craziest, obviously, the most unconventional Southern dish for Thanksgiving was perfect.
Sounds perfect to me.
Yeah, it was. And Yeah, it's just really good. I mean, you think of all these fond memories now, but it just seems so now they just seem so faint now because, well, she passed away 2 years ago, and it's just lesser now. And I feel like now our family's more disconnected more than ever. I mean, sure, some things have gotten. I think some family have moved closer to where we are now, but I'm not sure how that's really going to come into play moving forward because I'm just as far, I'm just as close, but still, just my own situations. I'm trying to deal with like life is just like makes things a little difficult for me to even like travel, and it's something I don't really like doing too much. It's just a tad harder on me though, but that's just my personal thing. But like I said though, eating gumbo for Thanksgiving was a pretty insane but welcomed way to have a good Thanksgiving. And I know I always had all those memories of like watching the Macy's parade, which I still kind of think was still somewhat of a semi-tradition I still have even to this day, I think.
I think it's still a tradition in a lot of households. You know, I just think that there are certain things that are timeless, and watching the Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade is part of that timeless aspect.
Oh yeah, long suffering Mrs. She loves watching it every year. She's excited. She can't wait.
Yeah.
Macy's Parade 1997 when Barney got killed. That is the best Macy's Parade Thanksgiving Day.
What you mean? When they lost when the balloon popped?
Yep, Barney.
Yeah, ripped apart.
That couldn't have been a better one because I had to suffer through the 90s with Barney.
That's a pretty morbid thing. I mean, sure, Barney was probably annoying to a lot of people, but heck, it's funny when he's been memed the heck out of. It's funnier.
I thank God that Charles Barkley did his little stunt on there with Barney on the SNL. That was hilarious. He did what every parent really was wanting to do to Barney.
Well, the thing is
game.
But I mean, Barney was more for like early child, like for babies and early like childhood.
Well, my kids were young at the time, so they were in the infancy, so they loved Barney. You know, the big story about Barney, I took my kids to go see Barney on Ice. It's similar to Disney on Ice. You thought to be on the rollers, the ice skates and everything. Advertised Barney on Ice. Got there. He was walking on the basketball court. There was no ice. He wasn't skating.
Well, if he got roller skates, then yeah, it would have counted like Barney on wheels.
He wasn't even roller skating. He was just walking around on the basketball court. He had his other little friends, but it was advertised Barney on Ice.
I think ice skating would have been a lot more difficult in that big purple costume for the actor. It would have sucked for that person. Heck, it sucked for anybody who has to wear all those big costumes at Disneyland. It probably sucks for some of those people. I mean, come on, it's
Disney on Ice. Yeah, like the Toy Story at the time on Ice and everything. There were some good shows. Even as an adult, I enjoyed it. The Barney one, no.
Who would like to go next and share their Thanksgiving holiday memories?
Well, the biggest thing I think I have is that I'm now the head of the herd. In other words, I'm the oldest member in the family. And I look back, when my dad and my mom, and back further than that when my grandmother and grandfather were around, and of course my uncle too. And we had some great Thanksgivings back then. Grandma and my mom always made sure there was enough food. Believe me, they made sure there was enough food. The other thing that got me was that my brother and I, we used to have eating contests. Who could eat the most? Well, here we are piling it in, so proud of ourselves. My brother pokes me in the ribs and says, Grandpa's got us beat. What do you mean? Have you been paying attention to him? No. And there was my grandfather shoveling it in like you can't believe.
Wow.
And he was not a fat man. He was, he was average size all across. But boy, could he eat. Oh, man, could he eat. And of course, obviously, for him, it was all Depression time. Growing up, living through that, trying to raise a family during the Depression. And being a World War I vet. And he always used to joke that he was the toughest, meanest, baddest person in the United States Army. Well, what did you do? I was the cook. Big joke about Army food and the cooks. But, you sit back and you look at all of that stuff. Now, it's all gone. I've got it in my memory, all of them. I paged through them just like flipping through through a novel. And now let's face it, I'm 75 years old. I'm getting at the end of my road. Admittedly, I am 5 years younger than the president. Sorry, couldn't resist.
That's all right.
But, when you get into that category of being this age, and, your time is limited. Whatever God's given you, is what you're going to live. And you try to make the best of it. And you try to enjoy life. And you try to tell people, when your family gets together, remember it. Treasure it. Because those are the only real memories you're going to have.
Yep. I know what you mean. I'll let everybody else go first before I talk about my memories, but I have some memories that are still vivid memories. So, Baron. I don't know if you're there right now, brother, but Baron, if you want to go next, go ahead. If Baron isn't there, I hear you now. I hear you now.
Okay. No. I think the thing was actually on mute. My apologies. Well, mine isn't much different from his for many reasons, obviously. But it was just everyone getting together. We had, let's see, 1, 2, 4 generations under one roof for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
My great grandfather, my grandfather, my grandmother, my great grandmother, some uncles, my parents. I mean, it was a full house and it was full food. I mean, you just sit down and you just talk, and people will be telling stories, and sometimes maybe stories are going to be told. But that's where the wine loosens people up, and you start hearing, getting a little bit more of the family history, you might say, a little unfiltered. So, so I mean, as that goes, it's. That's what it's always been. Of course, being just grateful for everything that we have. I mean, it's so easy to sit back and bemoan how we don't have this, we don't have that, and this is going bad, and that's going bad. I mean, when Lincoln came forward to have this during a major war, it was to remind us that there are things that we should be thankful for. All of us have a lot of things to be thankful for: friends, family. This little forum that we're able to get together, literally across the United States and around the world. I mean, you never know who you're going to have talking, with you from where. Talking with people from New Zealand, England, Canada. You never know. There's so many things to be thankful for, and family grows in different ways. And even though this family is not going to be sitting together at a table, we can be at least be thankful for this, together. That is, we can be thankful for this family, and know that the next day when we're coming out of that turkey coma, and bemoaning, my God, why did I have that extra? piece of pie or whatever, coming down for a little bit from that hangover, because one too many glasses of wine, at least we still have the family, and the force is family. You are, we are, whatever it is you want to sit back and use for a tagline. Be thankful. Be thankful. Go out of your way if you have to, and start thinking about blessings that you have, and you start finding out you have a hell of a lot more than you thought. And again, this is one of the blessings right here. All of us, how we all come together and bust each other's, chops and talk and discuss and debate. And, we're very respectful for each other. It's just amazing what we have out there. So be thankful, let's count your blessings, and hope you survive the turkey coma that comes about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this year is going to be a little unique because we're going to have one person at the table that's not a family member, and not even a potential family member.
What do you mean?
There's a lady at church with Anne.
Okay. I thought I was up here talking about my girls' fiance. It's like, what do you mean not going to be part of the family?
No. I'm talking about a complete, total, what have you. So yeah, I got a future candidate for the family, and then we invited somebody in. Now Anne is all alone; she has nobody, and it's just a case of where, isn't that kind of what Thanksgiving is about, to open it up to people who don't have anything?
Well, that's the kind of nice thing about the church that I used to belong to. My mother still belongs to. I'm sure they're still doing it. Every year having a Thanksgiving dinner and inviting everybody to come in. Not just members of the church. Have a place for people to get together and have a good Thanksgiving dinner all together, and either meet people that you already know or meet new people. You never know who will walk through those doors.
Mm-hmm. And anything else you'd like to add, Baron?
I'm putting out, of course, the annual. Let's put the bear traps out on the roof so we can get that guide this year, and that's about it.
Watch it, kid. Remember, this is the thing that's going to get you.
Yeah.
I used to do that to my dad all the time. Yeah. Me, Michael. No, he wouldn't do that. My dad and I would give each other a hard time, but I'll explain more of that after Phil talks about his Thanksgiving holiday memories.
3 hours later.
Just 3.
Oh. Well, you're on,
sorry,
Phil.
Yeah.
I had to, Phil. I'm sorry. I had to.
Okay. I'll tell your dad, and then he'll take care of you. Behind the woodshed with the old military belt,
Well, you better watch out, Phil. I'm older than you, man. I'm older than you, so you better watch out.
Did you experience getting beat with a belt from World War One? From World War One, that was the thick, heavy leather that thing didn't give. It didn't give. That was a hand-me-down. It went from my grandfather to my father, and then I got beat with it. And we were coming from a day and age when we were thankful that we got a beating.
I know one thing. That's one thing I can also say about my grandmother. She was a very nice, loving person, but trust me, she had her mean streaks.
And of course, this is coming from Phil, the northerner from Delaware, who says he's from the south.
What? No, not no northerner. Not no northerner.
Oh yeah, you are.
No. But Thanksgiving was always big in my family. We tended to keep it inside the family. If you were like a boyfriend or even a soon to be, until you were in the clique, you weren't in the clique. So you can come over later on that night for maybe some quick, fast leftovers. But as far as the dinner table,
I would say this: if I was ever dating anybody, yeah, you go spend Thanksgiving with your family, I'll spend it with mine.
That was the main thing. Was we would have dinner at my parents' house. We would have dinner, and then when my aunts and my uncles were alive, then we would go visit. You know, after their dinners. But if they had some leftovers, you know, and you were there and you're hungry, you got. You know, but it was basically for me, it was immediate family. It was my mother, my father, me, and my brother, and they overcooked. We had, I can tell you, this turkey and duck. You know, so much food that, you know, it was. Look, for me, I had a good metabolism, but if as I am in my age now, if I was still having big feasts like Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's, by January, man, I would be 300-400 pounds guaranteed. You know, I'm only like 140, so even today I have a good metabolism. But my parents used to cook a lot. I used to love watching real football, not the football today, real football on Thanksgiving Day, both the colleges and the pro. You know, that was a given. Friday was leftover day, and you rest. This is before we call Black Friday. We didn't have that. That's still Greek to me, you know. But as far as like I understand it now, but for me, you know, Christmas shopping was done by September. My parents taught us that. We even to this day, my family, my kids, my cousins, my nephews and nieces, they all do it. It's always done ahead of time. So by the time the season comes down, you don't have to deal. Look, I grew up in the age when parents were fighting over getting their kids Cabbage Patch Kids. I witnessed, you know, they were clubbing each other.
Everybody in my family, we always just started doing it near the last minute. Right as soon as as soon as December started, we had to start planning, and then we didn't start shopping until like the last 2 weeks before Christmas started. 2 weeks before Christmas, at least. That's the one thing we always have. And Christmas was always somewhat organized, but we always managed to get everything done on time.
But for me and my family, you have to understand Thanksgiving was a new holiday because I'm only, I would say, second generation on my dad's side, and my mom is from overseas. So Thanksgiving was a new idea, you know. So learning some of this stuff, my what ended up on our Thanksgiving table, you know, you'd be surprised. We had my grandparents were taught how to cook Southern style by a black lady that they had as their took care of their kids while they were working. They had a corner store. Before you had supermarkets, you had a corner store. My grandparents owned a corner store, and they couldn't take care of the kids while they're in the store, so they had a lady to do it. And she taught them how to cook, you know, stuffing, how to cook sweet potatoes. My family are big on sweet potatoes. That's not a common dish in Italy, you know. Candy sweet potatoes, candy carrots, yams, and all that stuff. Yeah, that's all new. So they had to learn that, and then it got passed down. Then there was some stuff that was implemented from other places. Like my dad got a recipe going to a restaurant from the Amish. So my parents to this day, my dad's passed, but my mom still does it, and I still do it with her. We make apple stuffing. So it has apple and cinnamon. The only difference is the Amish put raisins into it. I'm not a fan of raisins in stuffing, but I had a different form, which I'm okay with, but I don't tend to want it stuffed in my bird. Actual cranberries in the stuffing. So, yeah.
Yes.
I eat all birds.
Yeah.
But as the family's gotten smaller, the bird has gotten smaller. So turkey for us, for 2 or 4 people, you know, it's no sense of us having a turkey. So it's either duck or chicken. So I'm fine with that. So I can have a good dinner with chicken. But I have duck, but my mom, since it's me and her doing cooking, we alternate every year. So it'll be chicken on 1 year on Thanksgiving, next year be duck. So Christmas Day, we have the duck or the chicken. So, and ham on New Year's. But it used to be when we had, 4 or more, sometimes when it was my kids, my brother's kids and everything, we had turkey and ham. Turkey and ham on Thanksgiving. So
nice.
I have good memories. Like I said, most of my family is dead. Right now it's me, my mom right now. So, I mean, yes, I have grandkids and kids, but they can't speak Italian. I can. So when she talks the old language, I get to say it back. One day, when my mom goes, that's gone. I won't have anybody to speak Italian to, And on the other hand, which makes me sad, once I'm gone, that's it. I'm the last full-blooded Italian. My kids are half Italian and half Native American and Irish. My grandkids are, I can't put it nicely, I'm not ashamed to say it, they're mutts.
well, in many ways, I'm a mutt too. I mean, come on, my mom is from Trinidad and Tobago. My dad is black, so
eventually it happens when you. Like I said, when my grandfather came over here, he knew the deal. I mean, it wasn't going to be Italy, So, but it took a long while. Like I said, my family, speaking Italian, if I spoke it around my nieces, my nephews, and my kids, they may understand some of it, but they can't speak it like the way I can speak it and like my mom can speak it.
Well, that brings me to a question I wanted to ask you, Phil. Have you thought about teaching your kids or your grandkids, to speak the language? This way, it's passed down to the next generation.
You know what? I will tell you this, and and even though it was implemented and put in people's head back in the day, learn English. That's the language to everything. Even when I was over in Italy and I could speak Italian, the dialect of Italian, because there's many different dialects. But the thing was, if I couldn't understand the word, the difference is they will tell you. Okay. Over here, the way we were taught, unless you're speaking to another Italian, even at the job, it was frowned upon. You spoke English because people don't understand what you're saying. You could be talking about something. So the rule of thumb was taught as a kid, outside, you speak English. At home, you speak Italian. And I had no problems with that. I mean, if you guys were all speaking English and I can only speak Italian, I don't know what you're saying. You could be saying anything. Look at this crazy guy, Not necessarily that might be what's being said. So,
we say that in English to you, anyways.
Yeah, I know. It's the same thing. Any culture that is of non-English speaking descent, I can understand all of them speaking their native language among family and very close friends, but outside of it, they'd have to speak English. I can understand that.
I can tell you,
America fra Norge, fra Telemark.
That sounds some form of language of Scandinavian. I can't tell which.
Norsk.
But
Norsk, yeah.
But see, my family, like I said, if I had a friend over, my parents did not speak Italian. Did not. If a friend or family member was there, because again, if they couldn't understand it, you can be in. I don't want to say take it as an insult. That ain't what I'm trying to say. But when someone doesn't understand the language and you're saying something, they're perceiving. Well, what's they saying? Are they talking about me? I had cousins that could not speak Italian, and when their mom and my dad and their aunts and uncles were speaking Italian, and I knew it, and they were asking what were they saying, I tell them they hate you. That's what they said. They hate you. and they actually look at me and I had a cousin that actually started crying because I told them that they were saying they hate her. I was joking, of course, but she really broke down emotionally. But hey, it ain't that hard if you're around it. Look, I used to be around it so I could understand it. And when the old people were talking, they made sure I had to go outside. Now the other kids, because they couldn't understand it, they could stay inside. But me, I was picking up on the private talk that they didn't want to tell anybody.
Yes.
And guess what? Bill, at a young age, my ear was listening to what they were saying.
And on top of it, if they use a word that you don't understand,
mm-hmm.
don't come around a couple of minutes later and ask them what it means.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you're a dead duck.
But yeah, I mean, you used to be able to. Like I said, Thanksgiving today is a lot different than what Thanksgiving was 30 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't travel, and today, like a lot of people do a lot of traveling.
Yeah, because everyone's very split up. Hell, I know. Like I said, my dad live in Illinois. I don't live with him. I live in my own place.
Mm-hmm.
My uncle and my cousins. Well, two of my cousins are with him, and they've moved. My uncle got remarried, and he's living in North Carolina now, so they're closer to where my grandfather, my sisters are, and my mom are in Tennessee. I think my other cousin, who I was at her wedding last summer, was in. I think they're living in Oregon, because again, she married a pastor. So there you go.
Ah.
But my dad always taught. It was taught as a kid. This week, stay home. You did even back then. You didn't really want to be on the road because you were traveling. So I was always taught, and I still do it today. My Thanksgiving shopping for Thanksgiving was done a week ago. So when that Sunday of this week hit to this ending Sunday, Bill McCracken's staying a hermit inside his house.
Well, you had to do a shopping a week from beforehand. You had to have the turkey fall out. It takes about that long.
Oh, well, it was easier for, like I said, we're doing chicken this year. Chicken.
Yeah, and I know one thing. Like I said, for me on my channel, I'm just gonna probably gonna try to do a video like later on, or at least later on this week, or maybe tomorrow, talking about. I'm probably gonna go on hiatus for like the next few months to get my bearings and trying to figure stuff out for the holidays. I mean, like I said, I won't be able to see family because down in Tennessee, because the whole thing with just how expensive it is to travel nowadays. And again, it's like I'm already spending a lot of money just trying to get down there by driving as it is.
Yeah.
And I said I'm going to agree. We're at least trying to figure out how I'm at least going to get down there for Christmas. That's one thing I'm still trying to figure out. But like I said, traveling is just a nightmare, and not on top of all the other things, like all my other responsibilities, trying to pay my bills and other stuff like that. It's just really, sometimes I feel like I just can't really feel like I can even do it.
Yeah. Well, the good thing is in this day and age, you guys, and I hate to refer to young people, that, but it is true. You got the ability to use your computer. You can do like you're doing now, and they can talk to you. They can see you.
But it's not the same as actually being in a room with them.
It's true, but it's a lot better than not having it at all.
Well, yeah, I mean, like 20, 30, 30, 40, 50 years ago, the family members that couldn't make it, there would be that phone call.
You got
that phone call coming. You pass the phone around to everybody
on the rotary phone.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And that cord was strangled little Billy as you're trying to pass it around, and as he's turning red, so, just a second, we got to unwrap Billy here.
Yeah,
and everybody,
he's turning blue.
The only other thing I can add to about Thanksgiving is the following day was always, let's set up the decorations for Christmas.
Right.
And my dad was one of them people. He was like, the whole entire place had to be lit up, and I helped. But I would say, since it's me and my mom now, we don't do that much. We put a little candle in the window, and we put the decoration on the door. Small Christmas tree. We don't need a big Christmas tree. That's it. But back then with my dad, like I said, he'd be all out there. He had like the movable Santa Claus and the movable Mrs. Claus. My dog, I used to have a Pomeranian. He would always bark at it and freak out, but He would go the whole 9 yards. It wasn't enough for a Christmas tree. He had to have the little, he had a model train Lionel that used to go around the tree. And it wasn't enough just to have the train. He had to have the liquid smoke to make it smoke.
Oh,
all the grandkids were fascinated by it. So, yeah. And my parents used to keep the Christmas tree all the way up to January 7th because we celebrate Little Christmas. So, yeah, we always had it that
but not
way.
Orthodox.
No, we're not Orthodox, but we technically.
No, I said. No, I was going to say you could always also have another Christmas after they have an Orthodox Christmas.
That's the real reason of it. But over like in Italy, you didn't get Christmas presents on Christmas Day. You got it on January the 7th. Little Christmas is when, and it wasn't Santa Claus that brings you Christmas presents. It's a witch. Believe it or not, we had a witch.
Yeah, it's the 12 days of Christmas. And it starts on Christmas.
And I had to go to mass almost every day as a kid because I was an altar boy. Yeah, I had to do that. But even to this day, I go to on Christmas time. Yeah, I go to mass maybe, day before Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and if Christmas Day and Christmas Eve didn't land on that Sunday, then you're going to church on that Sunday. So some weeks I was going to church 3 times in 1 week. So. And then there's a couple feasts in there. We have next day afterwards, Christmas. You had St. Stephen's Day when you sing the song, what is it, Good King Wenceslas on the Feast of Stephen. That's the next day after, So, yeah. And then family birthdays. I have a lot of family birthdays in January. So it's nonstop. For me. I don't get a break until February because nothing goes on in February.
Phil naps.
Phil rests on the month of February, But yeah,
so we won't be seeing you. We won't see you in February.
I will tell you this: from Halloween all the way through January, it's nonstop, and it's been that way ever since I was a kid. It's nonstop. Family birthdays. I have my daughter's birthday, my mom's birthday. I might as well celebrate January the 8th. Elvis's birthday. Might as well celebrate that too.
Yeah, well, I think I know one thing. For me, my birthday's in the dead of winter, especially up here. It sucks. It's snowing,
one
freezing
thing I would
cold.
say that I noticed, and I'm not promoting the thing, but we did tend to get a lot more snow than we are getting now. I mean, even here in Delaware, we would get. It wasn't unheard of getting snow at the end of September. Now we don't get snow sometimes all the way to March.
Because I think about a few weeks ago we had our first snow, but it like melted. But now, like, given what's going on, we're already it's mild right now, but it's got, like I say, like after Thanksgiving, it's gonna get like so cold. I got a feeling it's gonna get like minus 25 up in Illinois. At best,
and I grew up in Buffalo. I grew up, for other people, it's not a big deal, but I grew up in the blizzard of 78, 79, that stretch right there where, yes, my dad literally could not open the front door. It was that much snow.
Was that much younger than me?
Well, I grew up in Nashville. I mean, if it got snowed, I mean, more people were more worried about the ice and like the homeless freezing to death out there because it's always like a dry cold, but when it did snow, it was always like people were more worried about the ice on the road than they were the actual snow because they would just melt immediately after if it got even just as much as a dusting. And even then, the Nashville Metro School Board, they were always crap at their timing when wanting to close the school. They're saying, no, let's just wait and see how this goes. We'll just wait. And then, like, at the last second, they'll just close it at the last second. Hell, I even remember when I was doing GED classes. Me and my grandfather had to brave all that. I had to brave icy roads to get to the testing site. I was about to start my test, and then the minute they say, "Oh, sorry, we gotta close. The Metro's saying they're closing schools now." Like, oh, come on. those guys are just the worst at this crap. Seriously.
I can tell you, as a kid, I don't remember getting that many days of snow. What they call snow days cancellation.
Mm-hmm.
We got half a days maybe where they waited till the snow plows plowed it, and then they still sent you to school.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand. I mean, for these kids in Illinois, they get. I would say people who for these places that get a lot of snow all the time. I'm happy they at least get the roads clear very fast.
We used to be able to. I'm gonna put in Baron. You probably remember when I'm getting ready to say this. Snow tires on your car.
Oh, yeah.
Where you had to go like in September, you would take the regular tires off and slap on them snow tires because winter was coming and. That was
before tires and chains.
Oh, yes. That was before front wheel drive. And some people were still, even as a kid, I can still remember some people still driving without power steering. Try driving a car in snow with no front wheel drive and no power steering.
I don't like front wheel drive. I hate it because look, everything is up front. The ass end back there's got nothing. It's just the tires back there just hold up the ass end of the car. You started to get into trouble, that rear end starts whipping on you. You're screwed.
Yes. My dad was the same way as you. He hated when they start coming out with front wheel drive. He hated it. He always said it was better to have you got more traction from the back and you were more likely to slide not from the front of your tires, but from the rear of your tires. So take it as you want, but I the things like I said, I remember, all during this time of year, there were the things, like I said, changing your car tires to from regular to winter tires, chains. I remember the chains. You put chains on your tires here around here anymore, they look at you crazy. But back then, you didn't go anywhere.
And let's not forget taking the screens off the windows and putting the storm windows on.
Yes. Oh, what fun! All
right. Let's get back to the Thanksgiving and holiday memories.
Well, this is all memories of Thanksgiving time. This is all what you had to plan why you were thankful for Thanksgiving.
True.
When I was a kid, the cars back then were the 1950s and older. How tall they are, right? And then they had the car antenna aerial on them. Well, people would run the antenna all the way up and tie a flag on it. Because when they came into intersections, that's the only way you'd know that because the snow was piled up so high.
No marker.
Yeah. And, that was, hey, I'm here. Don't crash into me. And this was at Thanksgiving.
And welcome, Anonymous.
No.
And you know what? After that Thanksgiving week, that Monday, I always remember with my dad, my mom and dad at the time always insisted on a live Christmas tree. Now, you didn't go to the guy around the corner to get the Christmas tree. Oh, no. You had to go to the guy that was actually growing the Christmas tree. And yes, old man, we're going to cut it down.
And actually cut it down. That's cool. Yeah, that's
Me and my brother, my dad just stood there. Yeah, you guys go ahead and do it. Do you know how long it takes two people with a little saw to go through a Christmas tree?
A little sweet saw.
It takes quite some time.
And a lot of arm work.
And the thing about it is, too, that you're talking about on Thanksgiving, you don't think about this. Nobody's going to do that. The day after Thanksgiving, 10,000 people all head out to the tree farms to cut a tree.
But my parents, they would never buy it, even though it was around, the corner guys selling the Christmas trees already cut. They had to go to the guy that actually grew the Christmas tree.
Yep.
What is it? Douglas Ferns, I think they called them. Douglas
Firs. Fir. F-I-R. Fir.
Yes, thank you.
And there's a sad thing though. We don't have turkeys singing da 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 da. We don't have.
Well, Anonymous, I would love to hear your memories of Thanksgiving and the holidays in general growing up as a kid.
Well, let's see. Hello, everybody.
Hey, Anonymous.
Hello, brother.
Hello.
My family was a very weird. We didn't like get together with cousins and aunts and stuff like that. We did ours just it was like 5 of us, sometimes we'd have a guest or something, but Thanksgiving was always just tons of food and a lot of moaning and groaning and just trying not to die.
No.
Was there cornbread?
Oh yes, cornbread dressing.
Yeah.
Not with apples, Phil.
No,
Gross.
we don't put We don't put apples in cornbread. No.
Apple
I won't. I
dressing,
won't. The only thing
You
I
put
would.
giblets.
Other thing I
Yeah.
always loved. The only dessert I loved was sweet potato pie with marshmallows in it.
Nope. Sweet potatoes, yams, none of that. Blech. Gross. All right. No, we're good with the turkey. It was great when it first came out of the oven, but then it was dried 10 minutes later.
Yeah.
That's memories right there. My mom was a super excellent cook, but there was no such thing as injectors back then.
Yeah, one of those things where you had to, or the thing where you had to like see how hot the turkey was to know it was safe to eat.
Well, yeah, you always had you get a turkey, you always came with the little built-in thermometer, pops out.
Yeah, the meat thermometer.
Yeah. But there was no butter injections and all that. So
you basted them.
You basted them.
My parents used to do
work.
it regardless of the size of the turkey or even chicken or whatever bird you're doing. It's like every 30 minutes they would always baste it.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
We had a thermometer with a spike on it.
Yeah.
No, it was not for turkeys. That was for checking radiators on cars and everything else. It was automotive. So when it came Thanksgiving time, we'd take it, we'd wash that thing real clean. And we use that for checking out the turkey.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's oh man. I can cook a turkey now that would be moist for the next 3 days,
Could you give me some advice so I can pass it on to family?
Tony Chachere's Creole butter injector.
All right.
You get it at Walmart or wherever. It's in a bottle. It comes with the needle, the injector needle. That stuff is fantastic. And do it like they say, or look up a video. You have to inject it make one hole and just kind of keep it in there and just move it around and stuff and just squirt a little bit here and there. Get all the meat. You can either roast it, you can smoke it, or you can fry it. Either way, fried's the best, but either way, that freaking turkey will be so stinking moist. You can cut it with a fork. It is awesome.
Nice.
The wife uses one of those oven bags.
Yeah, I've tried that before too. But yeah, man, Thanksgiving was just full of freaking food and just
Did you hunt your
family?
Did
No.
you hunt for? You didn't
God,
use a
no.
muzzle loader and go after the turkey? And
Yeah, I used a blunderbuss.
if you
Got dressed up in my hat with buckles and my my wooden shoes.
Is the gun that looks like a bell when it comes out.
Yeah, that's a blunderbuss.
Yeah. They still have people. You have to pay a special fee for hunting it. But there's still places up here that hunt wild turkey.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
I'm not saying not hunting wild turkey. I'm thinking you have to pay a fee.
Special fee. It isn't just a hunting license. You have to get on the list, and then you have to be. There's only like a certain amount each year, and then you have to pay a special fee to be privileged to be on that special list.
Oh my
So
God.
They say that there's 300
See
people.
it, Jet.
Yeah, see it, Jet.
What?
But say there's 300
take
people
care.
on your list. If you're number 71,
you
you're
love tax.
extra.
So you're not free up there, apparently.
No.
Well, here in
we
my
have a
neck of
seat.
the woods.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Pop. Roman.
Oh, here in my neck of the woods, you get your hunting license. If you're going to go turkey hunting, you have to put in a file fee for it. You know, it's not a special license or whatever. And it costs you like $3 or something.
You
for
gotta
the
get a
file
tag.
fee. But
Here
you
you gotta get a
be
tag.
Yep.
Per-
But you
per
got to
turkey.
be on a draw. That was way back. Now we got so doggone many of them around. You know,
Oh, yeah.
it's out the window.
I'm going to get political here. I am sick and tired of all these turkeys getting pardoned by presidents ad nauseum, going back in time. And all that's doing is encouraging the turkey population to get more and more gang-like. We have gangs of turkeys around here. Quit pardoning
Yes.
the turkeys. Show them we mean business.
Yeah. Well, you do know the birds, especially chicken and turkeys, they're not the smartest animals.
No.
You know, when it rains, they will actually, someone will look up and they're in danger of drowning themselves. Kids,
Oh, yeah.
they will. It has happened, and they have seen it where turkeys and chickens, if they're not in housing when it rains, they will keep looking up until they actually drown.
Yeah.
They're
My
not
uncle
smart.
had turkeys one year. He swore he'd never have them again.
Yeah, you see, that's the difference between a wild turkey and a domestic.
Mhm.
I mean, if the wild turkey is dumb, the domestic is even dumber.
They are.
Yeah.
My
And
state,
those are the ones that drown themselves.
my state was big on chickens and turkeys. I'm not sure where they rank now, but they were
No.
up in the top 5. They still have big chicken and producers down there in the southern part of our state. So
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have special things to go. We have a season. You get a tag. Of course, everything needs a tag. You get a deer, you need a tag. But I mean, that's just the way it is. But anybody can go turkey hunting. You get your shotgun, you get the right choke, and you go out in the woods and make a little call. Just wait for them to come on.
Make up your mind on that,
All
boss.
I have to do
Either
is
shoot
get
them or
off in the
choke them.
backyard.
Huh? That was 3 people once. What do you got?
Oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome DJ Ronnie G.
Oh, hi, DJ.
Hey,
Who's
No, I'm just
DJ
gonna
Ronnie
say-
G? Who is
I'm
this
just saying I'm
DJ
not
Ronnie G? Where is this DJ Ronnie G? I don't even see this guy. Oh, there he is not. Wait, that is weird. Oh, there I am.
There he is.
Hey, how's it going, gentlemen?
how's it
Going good, brother. How are you?
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
good,
not
man.
too bad.
I'm glad I could jump in. It's good to see you, Baron and old man.
Good to see you too, sir.
So yeah, no, you guys, I appreciate you guys going through the memories. I was trying to find some home video footage, because it's kind of hard for me to think of like the right description to give of what I think about with Thanksgiving. But what randomly came to mind was like probably like the second to last Thanksgiving my mother actually cooked, maybe like the third to last. At some point my dad would help her cook before 2014, but like I remember 2007, I worked at like a long shift. It was at retail. I worked overnight, and I think maybe we did Thanksgiving. We might have done dinner on Friday. I'm not sure. I don't remember which day it was, but I remember that I stayed up all night waiting online to pick up the Nintendo Wii when it debuted. So new Nintendo came out, and you had to wait online from like the minute I got off from work the night before till the following morning when the store opened at 7 a.m. And then immediately after buying the Nintendo, I went and clocked in and went to work because I happened to work there, Best Buy.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got home, after a long day, very little sleep, and I was excited to have this new Nintendo. I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna hook this shit up, plug it in. It's like, oh, this is so cool. It was the Nintendo with the Wii controller where you hold it like you can point it and shit, like a sword.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is great. This is so cool. And I was just so pumped. And my mom was like, dinner's ready. And I'm like, oh, I'll be right down. But you know how it is, you're delaying, you're taking your time. You're like, oh, I want to play with this stupid new toy. You're like, do. And then my mom was like, come on down. I made dinner or some shit like that. I forgot, but it was really impactful the way she said it, and it was a good meal. She worked hard on that meal, and she, used all of her cooking skill on it. But then after that, she was alive like for another 7 years. But like, I'd say maybe like by 2012, she wasn't cooking all on her own anymore. It'd be more like she would direct my dad and give him instructions. So I always remember having a good family meal, and that was probably the last time that she did everything end to end. Was still able to do that shit. And I don't know, it just came to mind like a minute ago, and I always think fondly about that.
Yeah, I mean that's a great memory of your mother. How she would put in the time and effort and care to make the Thanksgiving meal, and
Yeah.
she wanted you to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's the moms, man. My mom spent all day cooking. She got up in there early in the morning. She made everything from scratch. She made the turkey. She made homemade yeast rolls, the stuffing, all that stuff. And finally we'd eat, like 4 or 5, had all the trimmings, everything, cranberry sauce, little like green olives and crackers and cheese and just
Are you Italian? You have green olives?
Oh, we love green olives.
Yummy.
Oh yeah, we do green and black olives on every Thanksgiving.
Only
I'm
green
like
for
you.
us.
My parents were like you. Like I said, me and my mom. Yes, Wednesday night into Thursday morning, I will be helping my mom, which I always did, even though I was a kid, chopping and cutting and dicing and yeah.
The prep work on Thanksgiving dinner is nuts.
It is. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
I had to say I've taken over for the most part of the cooking. Mom's gone, Dad's gone. All left with me and my sister and her family. She just got married with 2 other kids now, and so we're gonna have a decent Thanksgiving. We're the only 2 left. My brother died a couple years ago. And but now we got another ready-made family. She has a daughter from a previous marriage, and now she's got 2 more kids. So we got a pretty decent house, and we don't go well. We usually go to my wife's families for one day, and then we do my family's. My family's better, by the way.
Everybody, I'm going to drop out. It was great talking with you all. I hope you all have an excellent Thanksgiving and a great time with everybody, and you have great memories. Maybe I can't leave.
I'm paying good money for this.
Don't forget your little teddy bear.
I won't. I won't forget my little teddy bear.
Thank you for coming on, Baron.
Yeah,
no problem. I'll get you all, and you all have a great night. Love you.
Have a great night.
Merry Thanksgiving.
I will tell you that I'm pretty sure most of us will have the similar rule, the modern technology thing. Cell phones at the dinner table. My mom has outlawed it. You come there with your cell phone at the dinner table, that cell phone is out the door. The newer generation don't understand it. I understand it, but my mom's philosophy was the dinner table is the dinner table. You want to have a telephone conversation, you take it somewhere else. But here's the rule. If you're not there at the dinner table when dinner is ready to serve, you just might as well hop in your car and go wherever you want to go.
You got her.
That sounds very familiar.
I mean, I can tell you this. We're all similar in ages, and old man is a little bit older than us, but he can tell when the laws laid down, And if we had cell phones back then, I guarantee you we would not have been allowed to have a cell phone there. They would break it. And they don't care if it was worth $100, $200, they would break it. I remember when I was done helping and it was cooking time, Thanksgiving morning, and it was my parents always wanted it done around 1:00. And the reason they wanted it done 1:00, that way, if you wanted more, you can always go back to it during the day.
High input.
Input.
Yep. But
trying to fight for leftovers. That's
it was a fight. And there, like I said, most of the time, my mom was not a big eater. I mean, she ate decently, but it was between my dad, me, and my brother. It just, for some reason, it was game on. You know, 3 pies. There was cake, and then there was your traditional Thanksgiving meal. Since we're Italian, homemade lasagna. Yeah, homemade lasagna. You had to lay the little shells out, put the cheese and then meat and then another layer, then sauce and all that. Yeah. At some point, I would even tell you guys it was a little too much. It was a little too much.
For Italians, no, not for Italians. You eat a little bit, then you eat a little bit more, and
yeah, that's what
you just keep eating. You want some more? You look like you need to eat more.
Dude, I used to think I would end up 200-300 pounds at the end of Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the cell phone thing should be always implemented on every household. No cell phone at the dinner table.
Yeah, we've always had that policy, but by God, my sister's new daughter, they're the kids, so nowadays kids, so she's constantly on the phone or on a tablet or something. Yeah.
Well,
that's what keeps her attention.
I think it was the plague for us was I was big, like every other kid our generation, video games. So I would, like, during Thanksgiving Day while cooking is being done and prep and all is being done, they didn't need me. I would play Atari or something. But when it was time for dinner, you had like that 5 minutes. You couldn't say, "Oh, give me another 10." No. You have 5 minutes to hit that dinner table. If not, my parents were not scared to take anything. I don't want to say they break things on purpose, but you didn't want to have your Atari, thrown out the door because your dad got upset because you're not at the kitchen table.
I mean, that's how it was with both sets of grandparents that I had. Even my parents, you ate Thanksgiving dinner, especially at the dinner table. You didn't take it to your room. You didn't take it to the living room. You didn't take it to my grandmother's den and watch the football game. You ate it at the dinner table.
Yep.
Well, you had a table full. It's not. I don't know about you, Mike, but back then it's like you had the table and you had all the food on the table, right?
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like, oh, all the food's in the kitchen. You just go get you a plate and come to the table. No. All that crap was right there in front of you. It was a buffet right there on the table. You sat right. You just tried to make room for stuff for your plate and your glass and stuff. But yeah, that was the best part.
Or what I would do, I would just pile it all on. It's like, what? It's all going into my stomach anyway.
Yeah, it's true. I have 2 more quick things to say. One was the art of cutting the bird. That art has been lost. And no, you didn't use the electric one that you used to cut the bird.
My dad tried it one year and he hated it.
My dad was given one and he threw it out. He never even opened it. He just threw it out. Didn't give it away. Didn't return it to the store. He threw it out.
We didn't even have one in our house.
He was one of them. He would cut it the old-fashioned way. Even the ham, cut it the old-fashioned way. And here's the thing, the other part. Skin on. You had even if you didn't want to, skin remained on. I know there's a lot of people out there that do not like skin on their chicken and their turkey. Skin remained on.
That's a good stuff.
But that's
when we would go to my grandmother's on my dad's side for Thanksgiving or Christmas, my dad was in charge of cutting the turkey. So I would see him there cutting the turkey, and of course he would take a few samples for himself. And I go, wait a minute, what are you doing, Dad? He's all, I'm sampling the turkey. I said, well, give me some. He said, no, wait. I said, well, fine. Then I'll cut you a deal. Give me that turkey leg.
Now, when you're the chef, you get to taste all the food to make sure it's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing too. My grandmother, she would start cooking the turkey. Then when we got there, we would help out. My responsibility every year was doing the mashed potatoes. So all right, fine.
Good night, Kathy Skywalker. She's going to bed.
Good night, Kathy.
She's had enough of it.
then she stopped in. I got a story to tell you that is related to Thanksgiving.
Okay.
But it happened the day before. We had a lot of snow. And what was even worse, we had a ton of ice. Now, this is back in the early 60s. The roads, I mean, you put down sand. We didn't even know what salt was back then, at least in my area. And the other thing we had was something called a party line. Yeah,
I remember that.
That means where you got 5 or 6 people all in the same line, and the number of rings told you who it was for. Well, it's the day before Thanksgiving, and I'm helping my mom cut up stuff to make, potato salad and you name it, cutting up the celery. So proud of myself that I can help, and the phone rings. And it's for us. Oh, my mom gets, and she grabbed the phone. What do you want? And she says, oh, you want to talk to the old man? Oh, okay, just a sec. She hands me the phone. I'm going, who the heck is calling me now? And I go, oh, yeah, okay, Chief Deputy. I'll see what I can go and do. Was the county sheriff, head deputy sheriff, just right underneath the sheriff. Well, I walked 5 blocks to get to our family garage. I go inside, I get the keys, I come back out, open up the truck door on a 1951 Ford F6, which is the equivalent of F600 today. It had a monstrous big old flathead engine, 2-speed rear end, and a 4-speed manual. For the tow hook, it was built out of I-beam steel. And the winch was from a tank retriever in World War II. I mean, I had power up the wazoo. I drive out to where it's all is. I get there and I take a look. I can't remember what year it was, but it was a Studebaker station wagon in the ditch. Mom and dad and 3 kids.
Mm-hmm.
The kids are going off the deep end. They're in panic. They're screaming, we're not going to be able to make it. Dad's trying to calm them down and everything else. I walked up and I just, oh, bye, Phil. And I walked up and I just opened up the door and Dad was trying to explain and I says, quiet. Now, I'm a kid. And this is a grown adult, almost old enough to be my father.
Mm-hmm.
And I look in the back and tell those kids, you kids shut up right now. You're disturbing me, and I'm the guy that's supposed to get you out of the ditch. You keep making noise and all that, you're going to sit here. Be nice and quiet, I can get you out of the ditch. Oh, they all clammed up. Mom was just sitting there. Her mouth was hanging open, just staring at me. I mean, kids didn't talk to the adults that way.
Mm-mm.
They just did. And they're just staring at me like, da. Deputy sheriff that was there, Pete Lomar. Boy, did I know that guy well. He was a hell of a great guy. I really cried when he passed away here some years ago. But anyhow, he looked at me and goes, you're going to get him out? Yes, that's why he called me. He laughed and he says, yeah, I know better than to call Dewalter. They were the Chevrolet dealer. Their tow truck was a piece of crap. And Middlestead, who had the Dodge dealer, forget it, he didn't have one. He'd come and steal ours. So anyway, I get around and everything else. They got the roadblock. They're ducking people around, stopping people. The local town cops are out there. police chief himself, Blas Liverman. He's out there. I go over and I hook on the front of that car, crawl down, shovel the snow out of the way to get under there. I found a perfect spot to hook onto the I-frame. And I get out, I get up, throw the PTO in, engage on the winch, and I'm slowly pulling them out.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, no speed here. I don't want to get anything damaged. And I pull them out up a certain way. I stop. Dad's going, "What'd you stop? What'd you stop?" The wife's screaming, "You're still going to get us out, aren't you?" I said, "Shut up." Pete goes over and he looks at him. He says, "He's got to get a different hook on you." He says, "If he wants to get out of there in one piece, he ain't going to keep pulling you that same direction.
Mm-mm.
He's got to move the truck, get a new bite on you, and pull you the rest of the way out." Okay, these kids in the back, they're still silent. Not a word out of them. They're just sitting there. Well,
Scared
I
of the old man.
and I pulled that thing up and got it out onto the doggone road. "Oh, thank you, thank you." And I said, "Shut up. Start your car." "Huh? Start it up." "Why?" "You went into a ditch with lots of snow. I want to know if the thing is still going to start. And I got to open your hood up and look in there to see if you got snow packed all over inside." Okay. So that's what I did. I'm sitting there with a floor broom, jamming down, knocking the snow up from underneath him. I get him completely, totally out. This guy's just terrified looking at me now. I got him ready to rock and roll, but he's got to pay me. This is the day before Thanksgiving. He's stuck out in the middle of nowheres, out with a bunch of hicks, a bunch of redneck, you-know-whats. And he just looked at me and he goes, "What do I owe you?" And I says, $5. He said, "What?" $5. He had his wallet out so fast, I thought he was going to break his wrist. He handed me the $5. And I says, "You have a very, very blessed and happy Thanksgiving." He's getting back in the car and she says, "He charged you $5? He said, "Yeah, only $5. For what he did." He says, "They charge you $10 in the city." And I says, "That's because we're a bunch of itinerant hicks out here."
We don't know any better.
Yeah, we're dumb. But they got out in the road. These kids are crying in the back with joy, screaming, "Thank you, thank you, thank you." I watched them pull away and I thought, I just made somebody's Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And they're going to have a blessed one. Now I got to get this stupid truck back to the garage, walk back to the house, and finish up with cooking. But it just, Pete and Blas both slapped me on the back and he said, "Thank you, I said, "Why'd you guys call me?" He said, "Because we weren't going to call Dualter, they'd have effed it up." I said, "Yeah, but I'm not the only guy that can drive that truck." "Yeah. And we didn't call them either." "Why?" "Because you're the only one that seems to have an idea of leverage and pulling." And I guess that was true because it served me the rest of my life, being able to see things that other people can't see. I'm dyslexic. And where other people see things one way, I see them a totally different way.
Mm-hmm.
And it saved my life a few times. I can tell you that for truth. More than a few. There's a few times in Southeast Asia I didn't think I was going to make it, but my dyslexia got me through.
Nice.
But, it's just being able, and that's the thing. Every one of you guys out there, you've got something that you've done in your life to help things out for other people and make it better for them. and you don't even think about it. You just do it. Why? Because that's what you do. There's no such thing as a hero. Just guys that do what they got to do to make things right. So
Yeah.
not you guys, not one of you is any less than I am in that area.
It's something that I would call it a gift God gave me, is to be a helper to people. I don't have a lot of talent. I'm mediocre at everything. But the thing is, I can do anything. I can do almost anything out there, but I'm not great at it. So I can't like make a living doing this or make a living doing that. But what I can do is use my talents to help others further themselves, or help them in situations where they can't do it because they don't have those abilities. And that's what God gave me, and that's what I've done most of my life is just help others do better, or help others in need, that are in need. And I'm not tooting my own horn, believe me, because I'm not.
No.
I'm not
You're doing what
good
you
at
do.
it. Yeah. I'm I kind of like you, oh man. I mean, I can see things differently than others, and I can the way my brain works, I can I'm a very good creative problem solver, and that's served me well throughout my life, and especially helping people in their situations. And that was a gift God gave me, and I'm happy for it, because it really it's benefited other people's lives better. And that's, at least I could serve him in that way.
That's a heck of a tremendous statement you made.
Just what it is, what it is.
You see somebody who needs help, just help them.
And if you got the ability to help them, pitch in. And it's a blessing to them. And when they have an hour in need, and they ain't got nobody else, or and you can fix their problem, or you can guide them in the right direction, whatever it may be. It's not only a blessing to them, but it's also a blessing to you when they accomplish whatever it is that they need.
I mean, there was one year not too long ago, I was on duty at work, and this woman came in, and she didn't have enough money to pay for her groceries. So I looked at my supervisor and I said, I'm going to help her out. And she said, all right, Mike, go ahead and do it. So I took my card out and I helped her out.
And that's all it takes. Seeing somebody who's short of money, I just don't have, if you're in line and somebody's, getting food for their family, and they're short $10 or something, and they're going to have to go put back something, to say, never mind, I got it. Don't worry about it. Here's the rest. And you just take your groceries and have a blessed day. And that's all. If everybody in the world was generous like that, or helpful like that, like Mike and old man, and I'm sure DJ's done some things in his past that are just as kind and generous, but this world would be a lot better place if we helped each other out in that sense. When people need help, you're there to lend a hand. That'd be great.
And I remember the lady saying to me, you don't have to do this. I said, I know I don't have to. I want to. And so nobody should go home hungry. Nobody should feel bad about, not being able to afford what they need. If I can help you, then good. All I'm asking you to do is to pay it forward one day.
Sure. Exactly. She may have some ability that she can help somebody else in a situation, and just keep that in mind, in your mind, when you see that. Just have the courage, have the the fortitude to step up and help the person that's in front of you.
Exactly.
Then we can all have a thankful Thanksgiving.
Yes. I mean, really, not just this time of year, but all year round, it's not hard to be kind to one another. But it seems like some people, they make it a task to help somebody else. Like, "Oh, I guess so." It's like, no, it's not, I guess so. Either you have the ability to do so, or you can't. Maybe you can only do a little bit. That's fine. Nobody's saying that you have to throw out a whole wad of cash to help somebody pay for something. No, you don't. Even helping them out a little bit will help brighten their day.
Yeah. And if you can, like, somebody's car's broke down, like old man here, and you know how to, you can stop and jump somebody's vehicle if their battery's dead, or something else is wrong with it or whatever. If you have the ability, it doesn't have to be always money. It could be anything that somebody has a need of at the time. Somebody's in trouble. Somebody needs a ride.
Somebody might need you to just be that ear.
True.
Just be that shoulder to lean on.
Yep. It's the truth.
So, everybody's going through a hard time right now. And if
DJ's awfully quiet, but I can see the wheels turning.
If somebody needs to vent,
I was just thinking about my time in customer service. I've worked on and off in retail tech support for like over a decade before my current position, which I've been doing since 2018. And many times you get an opportunity to, make people's days. Sometimes people come in needing help with their computer, a service that we don't offer or something we don't do, there. But if it's within my ability and I'm able to do it without getting in trouble, I was always happy to, help people out if they were, reasonably nice to me. I mean, it wasn't a prerequisite to be like the perfect citizen. I get it. People are flustered sometimes. Those are the people, on occasion, people would come in flustered. You'd help them out. And some people, if they weren't a-holes, would, would show gratitude. And, so I always enjoyed that aspect of that work I did.
Yeah, because some people couldn't afford that, or they couldn't afford the price it took to go to a shop that does do that, and you just a little fix here, a little fix there, or some advice or something that, hey, you're better off doing this with it, and or paying a little extra here, and so you won't have to pay much later on. Yeah, that's super helpful to people, especially when they don't have a lot of money.
Thing that DJ said, he was in customer service. That's a heck of a job. Every day you do something and you don't even realize what you did. But you did something.
And I learned how to interact with a lot of people. I had okay social skills, but I feel like that working customer service, really helped me develop some of my people skills. And you encounter all kinds of people. I've seen other people help other people out. I remember I had this guy, it was my first month at the job, or second month at the job. It was I started September, we're rolling into the holidays, and the guy's picking up his computer. Back then you could pay for the services at the pickup. Nowadays you usually pay ahead of time. And the guy had this, must have been Tourette's. He was hiccuping, but it wasn't really hiccuping. He was just keep going ooh, ooh, and it was just a random tick. And, for whatever reason, a guy looked kind of flustered. His card declined, and it's a random customer. I didn't know what to do at the time. I was like I said, I was 18, first time working a retail job, as the guy behind the counter. And, a random customer was just like, I'll cover this, whatever. And, I didn't know what to do, but in retrospect, I see how the guy felt. He's standing next to a guy. He sees he help the guy out, get the line moving, and why not? The guy looked like he wasn't having a great day. It's kind of sucky to be unable to pay for something and have to turn around and walk away empty-handed after waiting on a line. So I've seen on occasion, not very often, but other people look out for other people and stuff.
Yep.
I've seen other associates, go to going the extra mile for a customer, someone who maybe had a disability or something like that, and they go a little bit more the extra mile or something that wasn't going to be profitable, because generally you're not really general rule of thumb is spend in retail, consumer electronics retailers generally, sure, you want to make the customer happy, but management is looking to also be profitable. They don't necessarily want people spending extra time with a customer. If they have someone else who they can make more money off of, and you got to strike that balance. It could be it definitely could be a balancing act. Some people would take advantage. I remember this one lady who would lie about having. I think she was lying, because she would play it up real crazy. Like she wore like she would come in like for a long time with this the headdress you would wear if you were getting chemo. But she was walking and standing and everything like that. But she would always like but tell us some sob story and try to get like free service. Sometimes she'd like take up a half hour of a manager's time complaining about something. It was just like this lady seemed like one of those lying types. So it's sometimes like you worry that if you don't help someone out, you don't want to help people out who are gonna be coming in repeatedly and who are kind of like playing for attention or something.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like they look bored.
She's those types that I've seen those. They're lonely. This is the only interaction they can get, so they tend to be. Yes, they do this with sort of like, even at the doctors, they pretend to be always sick and they always go to the doctor for this, that, or the other, when there's really nothing wrong with them, because they're out there. I've seen a few of them in my day, but they're just attention seekers, and they're lonely. And
sometimes like you if you go to extra mile with someone, you do it once or twice, then you realize if they are attention seekers, you're wasting that effort on somebody who isn't actually in need per se, or if anything they need maybe someone to spend time with them, but we're not in that line of business to give quality time.
But some of them who aren't attention seekers, because I've been in customer service myself. I have met people who are attention seekers and some who aren't, and the ones who aren't, like you guys were saying, you might be their only interaction that they have during the day. But if they're your customer and they see you, what's great about it is that when they see you, and they may not need anything done that day at the store, they may just be in there just doing general shopping, but they'll make the extra effort to say hello to you because of your interaction with them the last time and how you treat them. And if they had a good experience, then they'll remember that experience, and they'll know that if they ever need help in the future, they'll come to you.
Yeah, I had a couple folks who were semi-regular like that, and sometimes they would be coming in for something completely unrelated, but they'd stop by, say hi, or I'd see them, say hi to them, and I knew it was never was more social than anything. That they were never a waste of time. But if they needed something that required extra time, I was more than happy to bat for them. Like this guy and his wife, bus driver guy, real gentleman, didn't know his wife had dementia until like years later, but I wish the guy used Facebook. He was anti-social media, but I would love to link up with this guy. He even said, hey, let's get drinks sometimes, go to Applebee's. I would love to spend time. Him and his wife were really, cool people. They do tech support once in a while, but a lot of times his wife would just be passing through the area when he was at work. She'd be coming to visit him at work, and she'd drop by, and say hi, shoot the shit a little bit, and, real sweetheart,
Yeah. Or, there's this one guy I knew because he used to hang out with my neighbor across the street. And my neighbor across the street ended up moving. And, he would come in to the store. We just strike up a conversation. But because he knew me from meeting my neighbor, he always came to me because he had seen how I interact with other customers. And I don't treat customers like shit.
Yeah. for a good so customers will notice that sometimes they would say someone who's like they'd rather interact with someone who either knows this stuff or is just a cool fella.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they might have seen me on a day where they could tell I was flustered, and they would say, "Mike, is everything all right?" I go, I'd rather not talk about it right now, but when you can develop a kind of relationship between your customers where there's that trust, where when they come in, they're not gonna try to pull one over on you and say, "Well, you didn't do this right for me." As far as setting up phones, because that's one of the things I used to do is set up phones. Well, you didn't do this right for me. When you get that sense of, you're doing a good thing by helping everybody out and just treating them like a human being, not treating them like a number, treating them like a human being. Because you can go into places now and that's all they do. They treat you like a number. All right. Yeah. Move along. No, treat them like a human being. Act like they matter, because they do. Because if they don't come into your store, you don't get paid.
That's right.
Well, I hate to say it, but I think I'm going to have to bomb out.
That's fine, brother. I think this is a good point to go ahead and end the stream. If anybody has any final thoughts they'd like to say, please have at it. Plug your channels if you want to.
We all know who we are.
Yeah.
Everybody who's listening to the sound of my voice, cook some good food, don't burn it, eat like crazy, and sleep like a madman.
I'm the only guy that does not have a channel, and I'm telling you, plug into theirs. They're great.
Thank you, old man.
Thank you, brother.
How do I point at my name? I'm trying to point at my name. Yeah, right there. There we go. My name. Yeah, that's the name. Same name as my channel. It's so hard getting orientation right. Yeah, here. Yeah, that's my name. Yep. So
thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Michael, and it was good seeing you, Anonymous and Old Man.
Yes, sir.
Definitely. And also having Baron here earlier and Phil here earlier and Jet Sparks here earlier. It was great. And of course, because I feel the chat needs to be acknowledged because they support the channel, I want to thank Input Latency for being here. And I also want to thank Kathy Skywalker for being here. Thank you, Input and Kathy. And I also want to thank, as I scroll up here, I want to thank Shum. Thank you, Shum. Really appreciate it. And of course, DJ Ronnie G, thank you for taking some of your time this evening to come on here and share some of your memories.
My pleasure.
Leia Rose, thank you very much for being here. And let's see, who else? There's Shum again. I know we had several people. I just have to get to their names. Scrolling. Keep that mouse scrolling. Scroll up. Phil TMNT, thank you for being here. That's right. We had two Phils here tonight. We also had Aim and Fate. Thank you, Aim and Fate. And as I scroll up, I want to thank JT Gunn, Late Night with Cap. Thank you, brother. And of course, Jacob Ironside was here as well, as was Joker Voice. I don't want to forget Joker Voice. He was here as well. And let's see, who else? Yes, the Padawannabe was here. And let's see. We also had Alan Copeland here. Brandon Looney Tunes Fan 2000 here. And of course, he just went to bed for the night. Old man. Thank you, old man. And let's see who else. Of course, we had Nova Vaughn, the artist formerly known as Cobra Disney Jedi. Thank you, brother. And as I scroll up, am I missing anyone else? Well, of course, we had Bill McCracken and Baron Armentag, as well as Joker Voice. So, thank you all very much. Have yourselves a good rest of your night and a happy Thanksgiving. I will be back tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern to give my live reaction and review to the season finale of Chucky. Let's hope it's a good season finale, but if it isn't, I will tell you the truth and tell you what I think of the episode. So, thank you. Thank you very much for your support and have yourselves a great night.
Laters.
And one final thought, just real quick. If anybody is alone on Thanksgiving evening and they want somewhere to go, Smoking Patriot is having a special live stream that he has asked me to be a part of on Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. So please stop by the Smoking Patriots YouTube channel and join us Thanksgiving night. Good night, everybody.
See you later, Mike. Thanks for